7:12 a.m. The first knock came hard and sharp. I hadn't even made my coffee yet. The sun was barely up, and already the day felt like it had slipped out of my control. Then, my phone rang. I didn't want to answer it, but I did. "Your crazy mother won't let us in." Mara's voice cut through the line. No greeting, no soft hello, just volume and accusation. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. I peered through the upstairs window, just behind the curtain, and there they were, Mara, Daniel, and the kids. 4 of them, standing like luggage. Pajamas tangled in hair, a sippy cup abandoned on the porch step, 2 large suitcases, and a heap of plastic bags. No car in sight. That meant they planned to stay. They hadn't called last night. No warning, no, "How are you feeling?" They knew I was still recovering. I had told them, twice, both in writing and in a voice memo, I needed space. But there they stood, wearing the role of the victim, waiting for the crazy mother to open the door. My heart pounded, not from fear, but from a fury I hadn't yet figured out how to shape. I gripped the banister and steadied myself on my cane. The porch camera caught Mara pacing, gesturing wildly, telling some silent story with her arms. Daniel just stood, mouth tight, eyes downcast. Downstairs, the kitchen was quiet. A folded dish towel lay by the sink, my coffee mug empty on the counter. I had planned pancakes for myself that morning, to sit at the small table and read for an hour uninterrupted. Instead, I froze, watching Mara raise her voice again, this time to someone on speaker. She knew we were coming. No, I didn't. But I knew now they weren't here for me. I filled the kettle with water and set it on the stove. The knocks continued, but they weren't for me to answer. Tomorrow, they would say I overreacted, that I should have let them in, that it wasn't a big deal. But today, I picked up my mug and reached for the coffee grounds. 3 weeks ago, I had sat on this same couch, wrapped in a blanket, still shaky from anesthesia. My gallbladder had been removed 2 days earlier. The doctor warned me recovery would be difficult at my age. He was right. Every step hurt. Every breath pulled something tight inside me. I had recorded the voice memo in one long, careful breath, because even talking wore me out back then. "Daniel, I'm home now. The surgery went fine, but I won't be moving around much. I need at least a month of real rest. No guests, no pickups, no favors. I just need space for a while." His reply came 10 minutes later, a text. "Of course, Mom, rest easy." No questions, no offers, no real concern. Mara didn't respond, but the message showed Daniel had read it. I remember watching the notification pop up, waiting foolishly for a follow-up, some acknowledgement. Nothing came. A week later, I sent a shorter message. "Reminder, I won't be available this month. Hope the kids are enjoying their break." Completely ignored. I took the hint. My body did too. I stopped trying. They knew I was down. They knew I was alone. And now, there they stood on my porch, like I had been counting the days until I could cook and clean for 6 people again. I glanced out the front window once more. Mara sat on the top step, phone held high like she was filming something. The kids were restless. One tugged at Daniel's pant leg, another lay across the suitcase. I didn't feel pity. I felt watched, cornered. They weren't stranded. They were staging something. I opened my phone, scrolled to the message thread with Daniel, and read it again. Rest easy. Then why didn't you? I locked the screen and turned the kettle off just before it boiled. The last thing I needed was more noise. Not when I already knew this wasn't about miscommunication. It was about disregard, about walking over the line and expecting me to pretend it wasn't drawn. And I had drawn it. The next morning, Carla, my neighbor, stopped me while I watered my porch ferns. "Hey, saw your son's house got some visitors? Young couple. Beach chairs, wine crates. They Airbnb-ing again?" I froze. Beach chairs? She nodded. Moved in yesterday afternoon. Big white SUV, Washington plates. I shook my head but smiled weakly. Not news I wanted, but it sliced something open inside me. I waited for her to leave before going inside. I placed the watering can down, closed the door, and stared at the front hallway, hand hovering over the deadbolt. They didn't just show up. They had a plan. Rent the house, pocket the money, send the kids to me. No sitter costs, no food bills, no chaos on their dime. Just dump everything onto me and call it family. They had done it before, not this blatantly, but enough times. When Mara wanted to reset her energy, I kept the kids for 9 straight days. When Daniel took that conference in Denver, I rearranged a dentist appointment I'd waited 6 months for, just to cover the gap. Always painted as last-minute emergencies. Now I saw clearly. Premeditated. I walked away from the front door and down the hall. The kids tugged at each other. Mara scrolled her phone, acting like the inconvenience was hers. I opened the drawer in the hall. Not for them, for me. It was Friday afternoon. I'd pushed through a headache and an aching hip to make it out of the house. The store was crowded, the bags heavy, but I had still managed to get everything they liked. Eggs, milk, cereal bars, fruit snacks shaped like dinosaurs, not bears. Mara opened the door, took the bags without looking up, and walked straight to the kitchen. Next time, she said, sifting through the bag, get the kind the kids actually eat. That was it. No thank you. No, how are you feeling? Not even a glance. I sat on the edge of their couch while the kids ran past. Daniel was upstairs on a work call. Mara didn't offer me coffee or water. I watched silently as she unpacked the groceries, as if I'd sent a faulty delivery service. I left after 15 minutes, told her I had a follow-up appointment. A lie. I just couldn't stay any longer. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from pain, but from that whisper. They thought I didn't hear it. Mara on the phone. They should be grateful we even visit. Grateful. Grateful? After decades of cleaning, cooking, holding babies when sick, keeping silent while chaos reigned in their basement, covering losses, rearranging schedules, that word sunk like a nail. The next morning, I called Ray, my old locksmith. He remembered me, came that afternoon, changed every lock. While he worked, I pulled out this state binder from the hallway drawer. 2 weeks into recovery from pneumonia, ribs sore, every breath a struggle. Doctor's orders, no stress, no exertion, no guess. Yet strangers were in my living room, high heels on hardwood, laughter too loud for a weeknight. Furniture rearranged, pizza boxes, cheap wine, orchid tilted. Mara smiled like nothing was wrong. Daniel said nothing, just sipped his drink. Later that night, after the last guest left, dishwasher clanking shut, I quietly asked him, "Why didn't you say something? Just one sentence." He rubbed his neck like it inconvenienced him. The binder had been there for years. Deeds, insurance, bank statements, medical directives. I opened it slowly. Hugo's name still listed as beneficiary, Mara's too. Back then, I thought keeping it in the family meant love and safety. I pulled out correction tape and erased Hugo, then Mara, then their access to the college fund, replaced with my niece, Leora. Reliable, caring, checking in monthly. Removed Daniel from medical power of attorney, replaced with neighbor Mardia, who had driven me to the hospital last February. Rewrote the final clause, those who dishonor boundaries do not inherit. No text, no email, quiet satisfaction. Not triumph, just clean. I could still hear Mara's voice through the porch, sharp, trying to craft a story where she was wronged. The next morning, I drank my coffee black, no one around to wrinkle their nose, binder open, tuition folder zipped, envelope with house deed addendum tucked in. I read it. Effective immediately, this property is not to be transferred, loaned, or leveraged in favor of anyone who has previously disregarded the homeowner's boundaries, medical status, or autonomy. I placed it back, locked the drawer. Relief. No one could take that from me. No more pretending, no more performances, no more trading pieces of myself to stay loved. Outside, ordinary sounds. Delivery truck, dog barking. Silence. Clean like rain-washed air. I picked up my book and finally turned to the page I had been waiting to read. Slow and deliberate, savoring the quiet I had fought to reclaim.